The official air quality index stops at 500. Scientists assumed no city on Earth would ever exceed that limit. But last year, monitors in Delhi recorded a staggering 795. This data represents a staggering human cost. Air pollution claims 2.1 million lives across India every year. In the capital, children are developing lungs that resemble those of 40-year-old chain smokers, simply from taking a breath. If current levels persist, a child born in Delhi today will lose nearly a decade of their life. For those with the means, breathing safely has become a purchase. Families are spending thousands on indoor purifiers and central filtration systems, effectively allowing the wealthy to purchase clean air, while others are left exposed. For the construction workers, rickshaw pullers, and families in unsealed homes, there is no shield. India is currently facing a silent pandemic, where the ability to breathe is dictated by a person's net worth. When the winter smog arrives, political leaders frequently cite the city's toxic air as an unavoidable curse of geography, a natural disaster they have no power to stop. Delhi sits in a geographical bowl, flanked by the Himalayas and Aravalli Hills, blocking natural airflow. During winter, a temperature inversion layers warm air over cold air, acting like a lid. This forces emissions into a dense layer just 100 meters high. Inside this compressed space, the city adds a massive daily volume of toxins. Over 1.2 crore vehicles and thousands of active construction sites generate a constant flow of particulate matter and unmanaged dust. The final seasonal input arrives via northwestern winds. They carry 35 million tons of smoke from agricultural stubble burning in neighboring states directly into Delhi. However, these conditions are not a uniquely Indian problem. In 2013, Beijing faced a nearly identical crisis, suffering from the same topographical bowl, winter inversions, and seasonal smoke from neighboring provinces. Beijing's turnaround demonstrates that these geographical constraints are problems to be solved, rather than excuses for permanent inaction. Despite billions of rupees allocated to the National Clean Air Program, the current strategy focuses on reactive interventions that only address the air once it is already toxic. Over 60% of the clean air budget is spent on dust control measures. This primarily involves driving trucks through the city to spray water on roads, a temporary fix that lasts only a few hours. During winter peaks, officials deploy other short-term measures, like odd-even driving restrictions and multi-million-dollar smog towers, which have no measurable impact on the city's overall ambient air quality. India currently spends its budget treating the seasonal symptoms of pollution while leaving the underlying causes of emissions untouched. China adopted a different model in 2013, launching an aggressive war on pollution. Instead of seasonal band-aids, they executed a structural action plan that attacked the sources of emissions throughout the entire year. They began by relocating massive coal plants and steel factories away from urban centers. This included closing thousands of outdated facilities, a decision that cost 80,000 industrial jobs but drastically reduced the city's toxic load. To address residential emissions, the government funded a coal-to-gas transition. They subsidized cleaner heating systems for millions of homes, making natural gas and electricity more affordable than burning raw coal. They also altered the incentives of the transportation sector. Beijing coupled a strict license plate lottery for private cars with a rapid expansion of the subway network and the deployment of hundreds of thousands of electric buses. To solve agricultural burning, China changed the economic math for farmers. The government subsidized farming machines by 80% and paid farmers to sell their crop residue to biomass plants, making burning the least profitable option. Finally, they invested $100 billion into the Great Green Wall, planting 35 billion trees to physically block seasonal sandstorms. Rather than seasonal interventions, China chose to re-engineer its economic defaults, swapping coal for gas and combustion for electric to make clean energy the most affordable path for industry and households alike. This plan worked. Within a decade, pollution in Beijing dropped by over 40%, and residents saw years added back to their life expectancy. In contrast, millions of people in Delhi continue to breathe dangerous air, while nearly half the government's clean air funds remain unspent in bank accounts. Much of this progress stems from a shift in bureaucratic incentives. China tied the promotions and careers of local officials directly to air quality metrics, firing thousands of bureaucrats who failed to meet their targets. In a democracy like India, this level of accountability is triggered by public demand. Lasting change requires sustained outrage that persists throughout the year, rather than just during the months when the air is thickest. Grassroots pressure has a history of success in the region. Villagers in Kerala successfully campaigned to shut down a toxic Coca-Cola plant, and activists in New York used public data to shame landlords into adopting clean heating laws. The history of Beijing proves that toxic air is not a permanent condition of geography. It is a political choice. Until the public demands a different path, the cost will continue to be measured in years of life lost.